21. I'm from Essex. I was born in Nigeria, and I studied business law at Nottingham Trent University. What brought me to Immunocore was, I would say, there was nothing, maybe it sounds bad, but there was nothing really that like, oh, I want to go into a biotech, I want to look at Immunocore. It was more so I applied for everything, and this was the place that gave me a chance, really.
So I've been in the industry within this field for about 20 years. So I also did a law degree, and then like Michael's doing law and business. But after doing my postgrad in law, I accidentally fell into this industry within the legal sector within the industry. And it's just evolved from there over the 20 years. So I've worked with various pharmaceutical companies, various clinical research organisations, and I joined Immunocore just over a year and a half ago now. Yes, and yeah, bringing on Michael as our first intern.
I think my first week was amazing, in my opinion. I think it was really, there was a lot of stuff going on, and usually I get quite, socially tired quickly, but I didn't here. When I first came, the culture was great. Sundeep was welcoming. The other two members of my team, Neri and Bibiana, were really helpful as well. I would say that coming into it the first week, it was like trying to hop on a moving train, because obviously the business is a business and they were doing stuff before I came and they can't really slow down just for me. But I think, as I said, the team really helped me improve and get up to speed.
So it worked well because prior to Michael joining us, we didn't have a team onboarding plan. So it prompted us to put together our onboarding plan, which was done by Bibiana. Because Bibiana, being the newest member of the team, she knew what it would be like to come into a new team, right? Come into our contracts team. So Bibiana just put together an onboarding plan even, which we then, followed through when Michael joined. And actually, we weren't quite sure, I wasn't quite sure myself what to expect from someone so young joining the team, but Michael has made it so easy and just taken on everything we've said really, really well. And actually, the whole process of from there, even up until now, Michael's been working on us as to what we can do to improve things and so on. And even thinking now about what the next intern, what we can do better for the next intern.
So I would say the culture is very, I don't want to say like a family because that's the cliche, but I would say everyone's just really helpful. There's never been any issues or anything. Like if I had made a mistake or something, someone would let me know. Bibiana was really helpful with that. I asked her to let me know if I make any mistakes so that I can improve. She was always telling me, this contract has this, can you do this? And I found that really helpful. Nuria, I could always go to her to ask for questions. Sundeep was always there as well. I think the culture, in one word, I would say helpful.
I think it's a two-way thing, and Michael has been really open as to what gaps he saw with us onboarding him and what he needed to make sure he's performing his job well. So we've taken that on and obviously hopefully given back to Michael what he needs to be successful at his role. So it's definitely a two-way thing. Yeah. It's been a good experience because it gives you a chance to reflect as well, right? So I've been reflecting as to when I first got into the industry and how if things were taught to me or given to me in a different way, maybe I would have got on board with the industry and the legal sector within the industry a lot faster. So it's made me reflect as to my sort of entrance to this world of pharmaceuticals and biotech. And I hope I've learned from that and given Michael what he needs to get up to speed faster as to developing him as not only within the legal profession, but also in a business profession and more particularly in the biotech industry.
I would say for me, it's very different from Dan Sundeep. I would say for me, I do HCP and sponsorship contracts the most, and this is it's a very standard template that we have, and that our field team then populate, and then I would then review it and get it approved and then send it out to signature. So I would say that on that basis, that day-to-day task, at the start it took me a while, but then now I speed through it quite quickly. I would say that's like day-to-day my main priority, but then I have other stuff that I get to do. Through Sundeep just allowed me to be free, I guess. I'd say it really differs from what I initially thought the placement was going to be. I think I told Sundeep this. I thought it was going to be, do you know in like movies where you're in the mailroom and you just get people's letters and coffees and stuff? That's what I thought it was going to be. Just stuff that didn't really impact the business. But I would definitely say I'm making an impact and the work I do matters. Although other people might see it as monotonous and like just boring, I think because I know that the business needs it, and if I don't get it done, then like it can potentially impact the business in a negative way. That helps me just keep striving, I guess.
Michael came in at a really good time because we were exploring AI tools for the contracting space when he arrived. We were testing various ones because we were going to be selecting an AI vendor to put a tool in place. So Michael got, he had to get himself up to speed as to what this meant. And, you looked at all the vendors as well. You created a sort of comparison with all the vendors we had, the pros and the cons. And the space has significantly changed from starting the whole process, finding an AI tool for contracting last year in February to December when we actually put a tool in place. In that short space of time, it had evolved so much already. And it continues to evolve. Even now it's evolving and we've been using the tool for a few months. Yeah, but Michael had a key role to play in it all.
I wasn't thinking when I came into the placement that they would be looking for an AI tool to help them. I assumed that they either already had one or it just wasn't going to be of much use for them. But seeing all of the options for the AIs, I think that really helped me see where the industry's at with how AI can be used to help them. I think that there was a lot of different features that certain AI companies had that others didn't. That was quite interesting, and I'm quite interested to see the future of AI in the legal space, because I think that although it is evolving, it will always need like a human touch, I think. I would say that there was two key modules at uni that really helped me. One was applied legal knowledge. That's where I looked at PI claims and stuff, personal injury claims. And I would look at a case, make sure that the letter or the letter had all of the relevant details. So this just helped me improve my attention to detail skills, my just being sure that everything is consistent, which really helps here with our template library and stuff. I would say the second one is contract law, which really helps me in this space as I do contracts. I would say that nothing from university really helped me stand out, which I don't think university is meant to make you do, especially in law, as everyone needs a law degree, or not everyone, but most lawyers have law degrees. But I would say it definitely helped me keep up, I would say, because without it I would have genuinely been lost. What have I learned past the university? I would say there's just obviously you have a lot of stuff that you can juggle at university, but it's not really like work, if that makes sense. Because when different people are asking you for different stuff with different deadlines, it's not the same as an assessment deadline or an assessment period, because there's going to be different times where you need to prioritize different things, and just being able to do that and learning to also say, oh yeah, I can't do that right now, I need a little more time. That was really, really helpful.
Michael is so much more confident now than he was when he first started. And I think that's come with just not understanding the environment he's in, getting to know the team members and getting to understand what he is working on. So the confidence has just progressed so much over the past 7 months. Michael does now not hold back if something needs to be done or something needs to be changed or if mistakes have been made. He's not afraid of just calling things out. And I guess you're not double guessing yourself as much now as well, right? So it's been great over the past 7 months to see Michael grow in that respect. And, there's an element of being proud here as well, right? Because we value Michael so much in our team. And he's not just come as an intern to learn, but the whole team feels that he's also adding value to the team on a day-by-day basis, which is brilliant. The first thing is that, if any intern application you are making, I would say just research the industry in full, which Michael did. Michael really related what the current issues or the current trends were within Immunocore and brought that to a presentation that he did in the interview, which stood out and put him so far ahead of the other applicants, actually. So it was doing the research beforehand and trying to understand what you are putting yourself forward with and asking questions. So Michael did ask, what the job entails, what the day-to-day is, having a bit of curiosity as to what you'll be offering to the job that you're applying for.
I would say definitely just have a hunger to learn. I think Sundeep and Lily both really appreciate that, just being able to look at things in a different perspective and try and take the initiative to put yourself into a situation where you can grow or help the team and help the business. I'd also say don't be afraid to ask questions. And I know I was quite afraid at the beginning to ask questions, and I just didn't want to seem like I'm not keeping up or things were going too fast for me. But I think once again the team were really helpful. If you don't feel like something quite makes sense to you, just ask. Well, yeah. I think one thing would be I would change where I lived. I think that's a running joke within my team and a few of the other interns, but I would definitely say that look into where you're going to live, try and live with other interns, or not necessarily being close to work is a good thing. I think that's where I made my mistake. But other than the confidence thing, but I think that comes with experience. You can't really go back and change it. But I would say there's nothing I would really change right now. I think that everything's just gone really well.
I'm just, overly really grateful that, Michael has come to work with Immunocore. Like I said, he's added so much value to the team, more so than I could ever imagine. And also brought a younger perspective to the way things are done in the team and questioning the way things are done, questioning the status quo and making us think a bit outside the box as well. So it's been beneficial to us, and I'm sure it's been beneficial to Michael as well.